Right now on the National Weather Desk, extreme cold arrives in the plains.
It's still not that great for us out and about.
With whiteout conditions and sub-zero temperatures in many parts of the country, the danger is real.
-46 in Butte and -42 in Bozeman.
Any exposed skin could put you at risk for frostbite.
Your brain slows down, and before you know it, you can't think straight.
We'll help you stay safe in your car if you are driving this week.
Now, if you do get stuck, one thing to add a little bit of traction, some kitty litter or something like that.
And after violent turbulence injures passengers heading to Hawaii, a pilot explains how something like that can happen.
It's called clear air turbulence. That's the really kind of scary stuff that's really hard to predict.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Matt Ritter. The next few days will feature some of the most dangerous weather the nation has seen in decades. More than 100 million Americans will experience blizzard conditions, sub-freezing temperatures, high winds, or flash freezes. Here's just one example. In Denver yesterday, the temperature fell from 42 degrees to 5 degrees in 1 hour. We start our coverage with meteorologist Brian Vandergraff, who is tracking the storm and has an overview of what's going on. Brian.
Hey, yeah, Matt, it is so crazy. If you look at this map, all these warnings encompassing from all the way up the Canadian border, all the way down to the Gulf. And we're talking a variety of winter alerts, including blizzard warnings through portions of the Dakotas and up through Minnesota, winter storm warnings through the Great Lakes area, wind chill advisories, watches and warnings through the deep south, through Texas and eastward into the Carolinas, and winter weather advisories across the mid-Atlantic. Now, it's not the biggest of snowmakers. Yes, there is going to be some snow, but it's the Arctic air that it's pulling through. Snow down into the mid-south today. By tomorrow, the snow in the mid-Atlantic to the northeast briefly, and then it's that cold air that rushes in. And today, Billings, Montana, 49 below the feels like number. But some of that cold core of that air, it goes as far south as Dallas. By tonight into tomorrow, Dallas feeling like the single digits, if not below zero. 0 at Dallas. New Orleans feeling like 17. Memphis feeling like 11 below. And then that cold air even works its way into Florida. By the time we get to Saturday morning, Jacksonville, Florida, feels like of 15. Miami feels like 39. A wide-reaching, very impactful storm. Matt?
Hey, thanks, Brian. Yeah, this is some event, no doubt about it, and we're already seeing just how powerful this storm is. Take a look at this. Take a look at this video out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was taken inside a trooper's car last night. It was 18 degrees below zero. And as you can see, the visibility was also 0, a result of powerful winds and very light and dry snow. It highlights the gravity of how dangerous the storm can be in some places. Wyoming's Highway Patrol says if you don't have to travel, just stay home. And the cold is arriving in cities across the northern plains and the Midwest. This is Dubuque, Iowa, where it's now 17 degrees, but dropping to 10 below zero tonight. A blizzard warning is in effect there until Saturday morning. And this is Camdenton, Missouri, along the Lake of the Ozarks. They'll have a high of 22 degrees today, then dropping to 3 below zero. But with wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour, it would feel much, much colder. And this video was shot early this morning in Abilene, Texas, where it is 22 degrees with 22-mile-per-hour winds. Very unusual for central Texas, and that's nothing compared to Montana. Meteorologist Mitch Coombs has their bone-chilling numbers.
For Thursday morning, we're expecting lows of -28 in Kalispell and in Missoula, -46 in Butte, and -42 in Bozeman. Now, our daily records will likely either be tied or broken with the cold air tonight. Now, on those all-time record temperatures, maybe not so much. We'll get close, but it looks like those all-time records will be allowed to stand. The one thing to keep in mind, though, with these temperatures, as cold as they are, any little small influences can impact those temperatures. So say we have a little bit of extra wind or some extra cloud cover that sticks around, that could actually keep those temperatures slightly warmer. However, if you get clear skies and light winds, we could see those temperatures drop even further than forecast. Now, regardless with those temperatures, it's very, very cold, and cold temperatures like this are very dangerous. Frostbite can occur within 5 to 10 minutes when we get temperatures this low, and think about it, we're not even counting wind chill into that factor of the cold air.
Now to Iowa, where it is snowing and road conditions are already a mess. Meteorologist Garrett Hyde gives us a passenger's view from the streets of Cedar Rapids.
It's certainly still not that great for us out and about, and certainly more of those roads are completely covered. I can kind of show you what's kind of going on throughout the area for now, but certainly, yeah, not great for the time being, as a lot of these roadways are still completely covered, pretty slick. Can't really see much of the overall road conditions, or at least the lanes and whatnot, says it's completely covered. Granted, the road crews have been out doing a wonderful job at keeping those main drags as drivable as possible, but of course it's still not that great as we kind of try to accelerate through that intersection, slipping just a little bit as well. And that's something you're likely going to be expecting as we head over the next couple of hours, as we head throughout the rest of our morning. I don't imagine things really improving all that much as we continue to stay brutally cold. A lot of that snow, whatever does get cleared and pushed off, is just going to get blown all over the place once again.
And as Brian showed us earlier, this once-in-a-generation storm is so big, literally, even cities across the South will experience serious winter weather. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott is assuring residents the power grid is trustworthy and can handle the strain on the system. A deadly freeze in February of 2021 overloaded the grid, leaving millions without power.
I think trust will be earned over the next few days as people see that we have ultra cold temperatures and the grid is going to be able to perform with ease. And so trust has to be earned back over a period of time. And I think that we will show that we can earn that trust.
And the company operating the grid says they've made many improvements. A couple of good things here. Temperatures aren't expected to be as low as last year, and the storm won't last as long. But it will be the biggest test for the grid since then. In Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp declared a state of emergency. He says it'll help ensure essential supplies like propane can be delivered for businesses and residents that need it. The biggest concern in the Peach State is the power outages caused by powerful winds. Repair crews cannot get to work until those winds die down, so the outages could last a while. Temperatures will drop below freezing today and likely will not get above 32 degrees in North Georgia until Monday. And as this Arctic blast blows away the outdoor warmth, flash freezing is a real possibility. You've likely been hearing that term a lot this week. Well, it happened in Wyoming, and we'll have the answers at the National Weather Desk. Let's go to Dayton, Ohio, where Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters tells you all about flash freezing.
A flash freeze is expected across many parts of the United States as Arctic air continues to take over. Check out this record temperature drop, 40 degrees in Cheyenne, Wyoming in just 30 minutes, 43 at 1:05 p.m. At 1:35 p.m., it was just 3 degrees. So with that, any wet roads are going to freeze over and become icy very quickly. So that flash freeze happens when there's a rapid drop in temperatures below freezing. Those wet roads do become very slick. So what you want to do in this situation is stay off roads if possible. If you do need to travel, drive very slowly, as well as turn off cruise control.
And frostbite is a real risk in many places due to the extremely cold temperatures. So is hypothermia. But local first responders are ready to respond if that happens. Luke Jones has more from Cincinnati.
As a firefighter, I've had frostbite several times.
Robert Relag knows firsthand below zero wind chills are no joke. And right now, he and others at the Coleraine Fire Department are gearing up to respond to lots of cold weather-related calls.
The call volume will probably at least go up 10 to 20% without any difficulty for hypothermia.
And hypothermia can set in a lot quicker than you may think.
Below zero, you probably have 10-15 minutes.
Dr. Puvi Shashaya is a cardiologist at Christ Hospital. He's well acquainted with the signs of severe cold exposure.
Your brain slows down, and before you know it, you can't think straight. And that's what it's, you almost behave like you had a stroke.
Any exposed skin is at risk for frostbite. Fingers and ears in greatest danger. In Cincinnati, I'm Luke Jones.
Not everybody is complaining about the wintry weather. Check out these otters having a blast, sliding around on a snow-covered dock on Lake Washington near Seattle. And that snow isn't going anywhere quite yet. The Arctic air mass has invaded Seattle, keeping temperatures well below the freezing mark until midday tomorrow. And otters were not the only animals out in the snow. A doorbell camera captured this bobcat and her cub as they explored near a cabin in Utah. They don't hibernate. They're active in winter because of their high metabolism. And although we may see them a lot on trail cameras, they have excellent vision and hearing that are just unlikely to show themselves to people. Coming up on the National Weather Desk, we take a look at how weather plays a role in turbulence. And millions of Americans are predicted to take to the roads today and tomorrow. We'll share some tips to help keep you safe.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have a big storm heading to our direction over the next 24 to 48 hours, 1:30 this afternoon. It's snowing in New York. It's raining farther off to the south. Most of our storm will be tonight through the day on Friday. Leading headlines is the potential for power outages, river, stream flooding. That's a possibility as well. We're also watching the potential for a flash freeze, and the time frame for that is going to be later on Friday night into early Saturday morning. Temperatures will go from 50s down to the teens.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. A mess during the day on Thursday. On and off heavy rain potentially up and down the 95 corridor, north and west. Could have some ice and snow mixed in along the Appalachian front, and that will continue all the way through the entire day. So holiday getaways looking like a mess as the next weather maker moves in. Rain may be changing to snow for some and starkly colder on Friday. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're looking at 82 degrees in West Palm, the nice warm spot in the state. As we continue to go further north, you get those temperatures getting cooler. 65 Jacksonville, 51 in Atlanta, 52 Nashville, 50 in Raleigh. Nothing like what we'll be seeing behind that major winter storm pushing across the Great Lakes. It looks like what we'll see is a front moving through, and as this front arrives, it's bringing snow across the plains, but in the Tennessee Valley. But for South Florida, cold air.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, it made headlines this week, and it fueled the fear of flying for many. A Hawaiian Airlines flight encountered such bad turbulence that 36 people were injured. Emily Gracie spoke to a meteorologist and pilot, Justin Chambers, at our Baltimore station about what causes turbulence and to find out exactly what happened during that terrifying flight.
You always have rising air currents that are coming up, and that typically happens in thunderstorms because you get rising air, and that's why you have those towering cumulus clouds in thunderstorms. But a lot of times you have turbulence that's called clear air turbulence. That's the really kind of scary stuff that's really hard to predict.
What's the weather situation that's causing that? Is it a difference in temperatures?
Yeah, usually it's a difference in temperatures. And you get rising air. They're called thermals, especially in the summertime, especially a lot of private pilots that are flying around in the summertime. It's always really bumpy because you have the ground that's getting heated up and you get that rising air.
All right, so what happened last weekend with this flight out of Hawaii?
From what I read on the Honolulu flight, they were actually at 36,000 feet and they actually encountered turbulence inside of a thunderstorm. We try to fly around thunderstorms. We try to divert around thunderstorms, but sometimes you just, there's nothing you can do. And I always make sure that whenever I'm on a plane, I'm buckled in because you just don't know when that turbulence is going to hit, especially that clear air turbulence. And that's something that is really, can be really dangerous at times. And pilots and people at the airport and airlines try to do everything they can, and the weather people as well, to try to, steer planes away from that, because we don't want, what happened up there and what happens anytime to mess up anybody's flight or anybody's plans.
Yeah, it's really alarming when you're on a flight and there's major turbulence. Is it ever dangerous? Can it ever bring down an airplane?
I've never heard of any type of situation with that, because usually you encounter turbulence at a pretty high altitude. For it to actually knock a plane out of the air, that's not something that I've ever heard of. But usually when you're in the upper levels of the atmosphere, you get those big bumps and, the plane can recover, but it's just a matter of, where are you when that happens? And it can be a very jarring experience for not only for the passengers, but for the crew, because the crew's standing up and they're serving you and doing things like that. And then, of course, even the pilots, too. There are a lot of times, they're strapped in, but they could be up going to the bathroom or something like that, and they can hit their head just as well as anybody else can.
Well, a lot of us will be on planes in the next couple of days, but even more of us will be hitting the road in our cars. Let's head to meteorologist Nick Stewart in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, for what you should do, what you should bring with you to stay safe on the roads.
Gas tank is topped off. If you're traveling long distance, make sure you frequently are filling up as you go as well. Now, if you do get stuck, one thing to add a little bit of traction, some kitty litter or something like that. It's a great way to give yourself a little extra traction if you're dealing with some ice or snow. First aid kit, if you do get into a car crash with some minor cuts and bruises, obviously a very simple first aid kit will help you there. Some other things you could definitely bring, windshield wiper fluid and de-icer, great if you have a lot of issues with a lot of ice and things like that in your roadway. If you do get stuck for a long period of time, snacks like energy bars, make sure you have water as well. A toolkit like towing straps, also very important to have. Someone else may be able to get you out of a snowbank or something like that. If you do get stuck for a long period of time, a flashlight also something you definitely want to make sure you pack with you. Gives you a little bit extra ability to grab some attention your way if you're stranded. Also, if you do get stranded for a long period of time, or if you're just driving along, a brush and something like this to kind of get some of the snow and ice off your windshield is a really good thing. Of course, one thing that a lot of people probably already have and take for granted, a cell phone charger. Don't forget a cell phone charger. Make sure you can keep getting in touch with authorities if you do get stranded and things like that. Of course, make sure hats, gloves, a nice thick blanket as well if you do get stuck for a long duration of time. And finally, one other great thing, nice shovel. If you do get stuck in a minor pile of snow, you'll be able to use a shovel to dig yourself out. And also, if you're stuck in a deeper pile of snow, you're able to use that shovel to kind of make sure your tailpipe is clear to keep carbon monoxide from getting back inside your vehicle.
And there's a lot of snow forecast for parts of the Northeast tonight into tomorrow. And we've all heard of wet snow and dry snow, but let's expand a bit more on the different types of snow. And to do that, let's head to Violet Skyber in Syracuse, New York.
Did you know that there's different types of snow, and each type has their own weight, and it all depends on the temperature and the moisture content. But let's look at 1 inch of water and how much snow it can produce depending on the temperature. So 1 inch of water can make 5 inches of wet snow when the temperature is right around freezing to just above, let's say 34 degrees. And when we get colder, dropping down to 30, we can see about 10 inches of snow from that 1 inch of water. Even colder than that, dropping down to 18 degrees, that's when we can see upwards of 20 inches or more of snow from that 1 inch of water. But this is very dry, fluffy snow. Notice the weight. It's only about 5 pounds per cubic foot from that dry, fluffy snow, but as much as 20 pounds per cubic foot from that wet snow. So that wet snow can really make a difference when it begins to pile up on your roof. So let's take a look at a couple of examples, starting with some wet snow on a house, normal snow on the roof of a house, and some fluffy snow on the roof of a house. Using the example of 12 inches of snow, here's how much it can weigh. As much as a truck worth of snow on your roof for fluffy snow, a truck and a car worth of snow for normal snow on your roof, and wet snow can weigh as much as 3 trucks on your roof for 12 inches. Now let's look at 24 inches. This is even more impressive. 2 trucks worth of weight from fluffy snow, 3 trucks worth of weight for normal snow, and up to 6 trucks worth of weight on your roof. This is when we can start to see some roof collapse and damage, along with some water leaking as well. But that's not the only concern. We're also monitoring for downed trees and power outages because of that wet snow piling up on things. And this also brings the concern for shovelers. Be careful shoveling this heavy wet snow we're expecting to get out of this weather system.
Well, one thing we all want to do, whether it's snowing wet snow or dry snow, is find ways to stay warm. A lot of people turn to space heaters for that purpose. And for tips on staying safe when using these portable heat machines, let's turn to meteorologist Taylor Sorrello in Birmingham, Alabama.
With Arctic cold expected to break out over the next few days, many will turn to space heaters in order to stay warm. Here are a few tips in order to use your space heater safely and prevent fires. First, make sure your space heater is set up on a flat, level surface and is not in contact with any type of flammable fabric. Keep it away from curtains and sheets that could easily catch fire. Never leave your space heater unattended. Make sure you are unplugging it as soon as you leave the room or leave your home. Also, always be sure that your space heater is plugged directly into the outlet, never on a power strip or an extension cord. Lastly, be sure that your smoke alarms are working inside your home anytime you plan to use a space heater.
As we head to break, we want to take you over Hungry Mother State Park in Southwest Virginia, where the scene will probably look a little bit different tomorrow.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael taking a look at your weather story across the Midwest. This blast of Arctic air is moving in for us for the day today. Still some rain in eastern Kentucky and Ohio, but that'll change to snow by tonight. So we've got much colder temperatures as we head into your Friday, especially that wind across the Great Lakes, making it very dangerous to be outside. Frostbite can occur in less than 15 minutes with some of the wind chills on the way. Sun tries to come out across the plains on Saturday with lake effect snow by the Great Lakes.
Well, a good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suche. Look at our forecast, and it is a big day across the region with Arctic air surging south across Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas through the day. Look at those temperatures tumble as we work our way through the afternoon. Feels colder with the wind, a little snow for portions of Arkansas early in the day. Friday morning, single digits to teens all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And then sunshine mixed with scattered clouds and a very cold day get you into Christmas weekend.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Thursday morning to you. Look at the bitter cold air taking place as we head between Hanukkah and Christmas here in the midsection of the country. 3 out of Denver today, 4 out of Jackson Hole, and -4 as a high today out of Missoula. 60 sounding all the more pleasant around L.A. and San Diego. Next weather maker, this big storm pushing toward Portland and Seattle could bring on some dangerous freezing rain by Friday morning. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Holiday snow for the heartland. Here's Missouri meteorologist Matt Gunn.
Blustery winds and frigid temperatures are expected to last through Saturday morning. With the winds blowing over 40 miles per hour, blizzard conditions are possible across the area, making travel highly discouraged during this time. The good news is people should be able to start to travel to their Christmas destination beginning on Saturday morning.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Twitter.
It's been quite a week for weather. Here's some of the cold weather content you've been sending us through Chime In. Let's start in Snohomish, Washington, where there's been lots of snow this week. They're expecting more today and tonight. And working our way east to this cold sunrise and fog in Utah. Today, parts of the state are dealing with winter storm warnings and dangerous winds. And now to Maine, and this breathtaking photo of first light. Their weather watches start tomorrow. Lots of rain and wind in the forecast with snow into the weekend. We'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search at Nat Weather Desk or the National Weather Desk, and we'll be right back. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, we'll have team coverage of the storm as it brings snow and freezing temperatures across the country. And if you would like to see more of the content you've seen today, log on to our YouTube page where we have extended interviews and videos of stuff that didn't make it into the show. I'm Matt Ritter. Make it a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.